Give Camp in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Before we get started talking, I want to say congratulations on your recent and well-deserved MVP award.
Thanks.
But let's talk about Give Camp. This is Saturday, day 2 of a 3-day event.
Day 2.
And how much have you slept?
I've slept since I got up at 6 a.m. on Friday. I've slept about 2 hours.
Okay.
And that was on the floor of a room like this, with my coat as my pillow. So.
You probably. I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but you're probably not going to sleep much tonight.
No, I'm going to try to get some this afternoon. If I just lay down somewhere. There's someone brought a camper, pop-up camper, with a nice comfy bed. So I'm going to go out there and relax a little bit.
For those who don't know, what is a Give Camp?
A Give Camp is essentially a weekend where we pair up nonprofit organizations, charities, with groups of developers, and the developers pretty much just nonstop from Friday night till Sunday afternoon, create whatever solution the nonprofit needs. That could be a new website, it could be update an existing website, it could be a Windows application, a desktop application, pretty much whatever they want. Yeah, it's a great time for everybody involved.
Yeah, a chance to do some good, a chance to learn something, a chance to connect with other developers in the community. How many developers?
We have, I think, about 60 here on site this year. We have a remote team in Knoxville, Tennessee with 10 to 12. And then Columbus itself is having their own standalone Give Camp this year. Right now, same weekend, and they've got, I want to say they said between 40 and 50 developers.
Okay, and how many charities?
We're helping 18 in Ann Arbor, and Columbus is doing 8, which is good. I'm happy because last year we helped 15, and it was nice to bump that up a little bit.
Yep.
We've got next year. Next year we
like
are
20 or 21.
We are going crazy. We're going to try for 50 next year.
50 next year.
50 next year.
14 to 18. You're triple busy with it.
We're going to triple. I wanted to double it this year. It didn't quite happen. A lot of time constraints. A lot of just life getting in the way of this. So we actually secured another part of Washtenaw Community College for the event next year. It's an amazing building. Everything's self-contained, showers, all the rooms we need, and as we were taking the tour day, just ideas of what we could do and what we could pull off, and so we are fired up to try to bring in 50 next year, which is going to mean probably well over 125, 150, maybe 200 developers involved in that.
So let's talk about this. What are the challenges this year that prevented you from going to 50 this year? And how are you going to solve those issues between now and the next 12 months?
So planning an event like this is actually really time consuming. Last year I was part of the planning team, not the kind of the primary planner of the event. So this year I kind of went into this this is all I wanted to do this year. From January 1st, I wanted to just plan this event.
Then that other conference.
Yeah, well, then I put on another. I helped put on another conference in Kalamazoo, the Kalamazoo X conference.
You were the primary guy putting on the Kalamazoo X conference.
So we did the Kalamazoo X conference,
all right.
Which again we had such a huge response from that. We're already kicking around ideas for the next one next April.
Oh, good. I really enjoyed that conference.
So yeah, it was a good time. And so the challenges this year were time constraints. I'm an independent consultant, so somewhere I've got to get billable hours in.
Absolutely.
I continue to reach out and to speak at user groups and events, so that's taken some time. I'm juggling 3 or 4 projects.
And you have a personal life.
And I have a personal life, yep. A wife and 2 kids that like to see me every now and then. So this year, what I wanted to do when I was asked by Jennifer Marsman to kind of take over this event, to lead it this year, my immediate plan was bring in the same planning team from last year. That was important to me. I didn't want to start over.
Sure.
There's a lot of knowledge that those guys had. Todd Bolin and Greg Campo and Josh and Holmes and Jennifer and you and a lot of people, Patrick Steele, that it was just important that they be part of this.
Yeah.
I wanted to be able to delegate and say, for example, Patrick, would you please handle the venue? And I did that, and within a couple weeks, I had a contract in my inbox. The amazing thing this year for the planning team is there's so many things I don't have to worry about because those guys just absolutely go above and beyond. Food, I have no idea really what the details of the food are. Todd Mullen, he's that guy.
But there's plenty of food out there.
But there's
It just
plenty of
happened.
food. Yeah, and all they do is say food's here, and I'm good with that. So
Right.
it's amazing. So the challenge is this year, so the time constraints, but I brought in this planning team. We got a late start because of just everyone trying to sync up. The X conference, the other conferences I went to,
Yeah.
the gigs. We got the word out just a little bit late this year. We wanted to get it out on July 1st. One of our partners in this is the Nonprofit Enterprises at Work, new here in Ann Arbor. They helped get the word out, but there were some, basically there was just getting everyone synced up with the word that needed to get out. So they did that, and so basically the nonprofits this year had about a 2-week window from the time the announcement went out to the time we needed their proposals back in.
So you really had to push on them.
We had to push on them. And
push yourself also to do all the vetting.
And the tough thing is the majority of them came in on the last day.
Yeah.
So it's not like we could draw this out over the course of a week. They came in on the last day. And then it was, we got well over 30 submissions this year.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's going through each one of these as a team and going through them and figuring out, which ones should we do, which ones fit within the scope of a weekend. Do we have the skill set? On top of that, when I put the word out, I think I Twittered the date for this event, I don't know, maybe 3 months ago.
Sounds right.
And almost immediately I had 20, 25, 30 developers signed up. So developers started signing up long before we had charities lined up. But so the challenge was, given the developers we had signed up with their skill sets, with the charities that we had, with the technologies they needed, in the end we had to whittle that 30 plus down to 18 this year. Like I said, it was for me. I really wanted to see us over the 25 to 30 mark.
Mm-hmm.
Lessons learned. We've been the planning team. It's been constant communication all weekend of what can we do, what can we do better, what fell down this year, how can we make this better. The interesting thing is we actually had a guy fly in from Phoenix, Arizona. His first name is Barry. I don't recall his last name. Barry flew in from Phoenix, Arizona to Detroit to come to this event because he wants to hold one in Phoenix. But he wanted to experience one first. He wanted to experience what a Give Camp was before he just dove in and did it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been great because he's had some feedback for us, and it's kind of been a brain dump going to him saying, okay, you got to know, this is what we screwed up on right now. Don't do this. And so it's been really kind of cool to have that person be here.
It forces you to articulate what the
Absolutely.
issues are as
Yes.
they occur.
And so we've had some late night brainstorming sessions over the last couple nights. One night, I guess. It is Saturday.
Seems like a couple days.
Seems like a couple days. So we've had some brainstorming sessions. We're starting to sketch out how we want the next event to go. What we're planning on doing is getting the word out to the charities. So the event's going to be in July. We've already got the venue here at WCC booked. It's going to be the weekend before the art fair. I don't know a specific date.
I'll find it out.
And we've got the venue. And WCC is such an amazing host for this event. They love it. They have been so accommodating to us. Any request we have, they are just, from things like thumbtacks to some Scotch tape to power strips to making sure we had showers.
And they're not charging you for the building either.
And right, this is all free of charge.
Wow.
Just fantastic support from WCC. So they showed us another part of the campus today, and we were just ecstatic. So we realized that this could be a bigger event. So our plan now is to try to get the call for proposals out in the January timeframe. we essentially want 6 months to actually get the planning done this time around. So get the proposals, request out January, get them back in February sometime, and what we're going to do this time around is get the team leads involved earlier. We want to get the nonprofits involved earlier. We want everyone to.
You have to identify who the team leads are earlier.
Yeah, and so that's one of the big challenges right now. Is so this year we had 18 team leads. Not easy, somewhat. Next year we're going to have 50 team leads.
Right.
And that poses a challenge. That we're going to reach out, more to the community and try to bring more people and more developers in.
Sure. You said you had about how many developers here?
We had about 60 this time.
So
around.
you got 60 developers, and if it's the same people show up here, maybe 50 of them will be team leads, or you have to recruit some new people.
Yes, and we're really hoping to do a lot of recruiting. We're hoping that again, this is our second year. We got a lot of good buzz from last year. We're going to get a lot of good buzz this year. So we're hoping that that's just going to attract developers that say, hey, I want to be part of this. Because I've been doing software for 15 years. And while this is absolutely the most physically and emotionally exhausting thing I do in software, it's also the most satisfying. So I'm hoping that I can get other developers to kind of see that and say, I want to be a part of that.
Yeah.
It's a fantastic thing. The way I've described this to people is we all work for someone 40 hours a week. How often do you hear thank you? How often is your employer really thankful that you did something for them? You come here and you see some of these nonprofits that there's no way they could afford me at my billable rate, or a lot of us at the normal rates that we would bill. They're so grateful that we are doing this. We are taking an entire weekend out of our lives to dedicate to them. And so it's such an exciting event. It's fun. It's hanging out with friends. It's writing code. It's producing something.
It's learning.
It's learning. It is such a great time. So I'm hoping that things like that will get developers to go, I really want to be a part of that.
Yeah, absolutely. It is exciting. I totally agree. Everything you said about what you get out of this event. You put a lot into it, but what you got is terrific.
Yep, and so second year on the planning team, first year is kind of heading this up. Even with all the stress and the sleep and making sure that all the pieces are moving together, I'm looking forward to doing this again.
So you're going to be in charge next year again?
Well, I'm going to take a role in the planning team.
A role in the planning team. All right, that's where
what I have to do is get home, get some sleep, clear my head.
Okay, fair enough.
Wake up sometime on Wednesday, and ask myself, do I want to do that again? Because the way we're talking right now is that in order to pull off the event that we want to pull off, we need to start planning pretty much now.
Right.
We need to,
Right.
in the next month, we need to start kicking that off. We have a lot of ideas for tools that we need to build to help us manage all the information, from developer profiles to the proposals to just all the little details that we need to have. So we're talking about building some tools around that.
What do you think is the hardest part of this event?
Hardest part of this event so far, honestly, was picking teams.
Why is that?
The really amazing thing is, you and I have both been to a lot of events, and we go to these events like a Codestock or a Day of .NET, and you see a lot of people there Most of the people there you see the same people over and over.
Yep.
An event like this, I'm blown away by the number of people I've never met before. Mm-hmm. So we have a lot of unknowns, and we had some flaws in the form this year that developers filled out. Where it was very hard to tell based on their form, really truly what their strong points were.
Oh, okay, so you need more information from the developers.
We definitely need more information.
self-assessment.
We're going to do full profiles of, here's this technology, VB.NET. Do you have experience with it? If so, how much?
All right.
All the way down from, PHP and Joomla and Drupal and .NET Nuke. We've got a laundry list of things that we need to know about to adequately assign team members. We've done a lot of things. One of the things that I wanted to do differently this year is just be more fluid, just kind of let things happen, and just deal with the change on the fly. And I think we've done an okay job of that, where developers will come up and say, okay, this team, they don't need what I have, I need somewhere else, or the team will say, hey, we need some skill set, and we've done a lot of juggling around, which I think has worked pretty well. It is a source of stress for me a little bit, because keeping everything, the 50,000 foot view, but again, that's where the planners come in. That's where I can, ask Josh Holmes or Patrick Steele or any one of the planners to find some piece of information for me to take, to find out who's doing what, when, and that's worked out really well. Plus, we do the frequent stand-ups, which we get all 60 people out in the atrium, and we do the typical stand-up. What'd you do?
Your issues, can another team help you with that?
Yeah, anything blocking you. Yep. So those are really effective at us nailing, getting things out of the way. But to me personally, that was the hardest part. I mean, walking around and keeping things together is to me a lot simpler than that process that we went through, and to set the teams.
I think I heard you say earlier, I think off camera, that the new venue for next year will have one large room, so we can set up stations there.
Yeah.
And I think one of the advantages of that is that you can have a lot of cross-team collaboration. Hard to do here because we're on 2 floors.
Yeah, that's a request we've had is a big team room. The new building, it definitely gives us that. And there's breakout rooms if people don't want to be all together. And it's just a beautiful setting. I'm really excited to get in there and to just, to get everything run. So maybe that answered your question earlier. Will I be planning it? I'm really excited about that. So overall, I mean, this has been a planning events is hard. I have so much more respect for people like the Mike Woods and the Jim Holmeses of the world, and those people that put on these events, these multi-day events.
Sure, in their spare time.
And I have so much more respect and appreciation for what it takes to put on something like this. It's much harder than a lot of people make it look.
Right.
But again, I enjoy this because I'm with friends. I'm doing something that I'm passionate about. So.
Yeah, well, I've walked around a little bit. I've talked to the developers. I've talked to the charity representatives, and we're about halfway through it, and it's going really well. Everybody they're getting what they need. The charities are really excited. They're happy. So at the halfway point of day 2, it's a success. And just keep that going for another day and a half.
Yeah, and I've been.
You got to win.
Yep, and every time I talk to the charities, I ask them, "Is this what you expected?" And I had one woman, real quick. One of the charity reps came up to me today and said, the art fair is this weekend. I was hoping to go, but I'm having way too much fun that I don't want to leave. And that to me sums up the weekend that she would take. She's taking her time out of her life to come here and to say, I'm having fun.
That's awesome.
I don't want to leave.
That's great. It should be fun.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks a lot, Mike, and good luck this year. Good luck next year. Thanks for all you do.
Thanks, Dave.